Hey guys, this is Camfrey15. I'm back at it with another video for you guys. And I'm here discussing another MCU project that, let me just say this. I watched this episode. Now I didn't do the weekly reviews, every episode review for this series. Like I did with WandaVision. I'll probably end up doing a Falcon and the Winter Soldier review as well. I'm gonna have to rewatch that series all over again, but that's 6 episodes. But I'm fine watching that because I liked it. Um, so yeah, but Loki. Well, today was the season finale, or the season finale of season one's Loki, because we're gonna get a season two. But my God, what the hell is going on now? Because this was crazy. This episode was crazy. This series was crazy. I think without a shadow of doubt, I think we can say Loki was probably, if not the best right now, Disney Plus MCU show on obviously the network, or on the streaming network. But this was just flat out insane with how crazy this was and how trippy this series was. It was just great. And then the ending was definitely worth it. Despite what other people say, they were disappointed. They said this wasn't as good as they thought it was and stuff like that. I'll be addressing the haters of the MCU in terms of them saying, "Oh, I thought this was done," and then the haters of this series saying they were underwhelmed by this series finale or the season finale of Loki, saying, "Oh, there were so many unanswered questions." Yeah, because if you watch a seasonal show, there's always a lot of unanswered questions. Anyways, um, I'm not really going to talk about the main story till I get into the episode 6 stuff, so I'm kind of talking non-spoiler stuff. I'll probably do the timestamp. But I thought this show was pretty unique from the standpoint we get a Loki from essentially, which this is the Loki if you watch Avengers Endgame, which I don't care about that point. If you don't know about that, that's your fault. Go watch all the Marvel movies all over again then. But this is the Loki from Endgame that when obviously the Avengers were trying to get all the different Infinity Stones during the movie, the Tesseract went away and ended up in Loki and then he vanished. Then guess what? We see him end up in this essentially damn near in this end of time state where we're introduced to this organization called the TVA, who essentially are fixing the timelines whenever things go wrong, which was pretty unique. And there was obviously very much mystery indeed of are the times is the TVA bad? Are they good? And stuff like that. And that's the whole journey you walk throughout this series and stuff like that. You see, I thought the Owen Wilson, who played Mobius, or if you don't know who Owen Wilson is, he used to play Lightning McQueen from Cars. I thought he was phenomenal this series. He was just great. I definitely like him and Tom Hiddleston's, obviously their characters. I loved, obviously what they did and everything. And it was just so freaking crazy to see what they did there. And my goodness, let me just say, it was insane with just what we saw. Just, we see Ravana, Ray Slayer, who we think is the main bad guy, but I'm guessing I'm starting to get into spoiler territories and stuff like that. But, we don't know where she ends up going by the end of this and everything. It's just, this show is so mind-blowing and it's so insane just to really much like see how far this is freaking going. And just to see everything happening, I'm just very happy that this show is done and it's just really good. It was a good show. It was definitely the best MCU show. So I love Tom Hiddleston as Loki. He's always charming as obviously the god of mischief and I very much liked his portrayal here. But yeah, let's get into the spoilers stuff, especially talking about this week's episode. Um, this show from the start, like I said, was just a bunch of mysteries to find out like is the TVA bad? Like are they like the bad guys? And they kind of weren't the bad guys. They were just the victims in this whole thing that Kang the Conqueror really had because of his thing going on here. And Ravonna Ray Slayer, we see in this episode just disappear and just walk off, which is an unanswered question that is gonna have to either be explained, I'm guessing, in an end credit scene for obviously one of the MCU movies or in season 2 of Loki and stuff like that. As I'm trying to find the voice, the freaking actor who plays freaking Sylvie, because she was great too. But I'm not gonna find her name, but she was great. The actress that plays her was great. I'll tell you one thing. I know a lot of people. I guarantee you, a lot of triggered people are gonna be upset about the fact that Loki and Sylvie kissed. Again, I never had an issue with, well, let's be honest, a Loki being into another Loki. They're practically the same people. It kind of makes sense that if there was a opposite gender of yourself, since you essentially are the same person, you would more than likely fall for yourself because you're the same person. Maybe you'll have different kinks and different traits, but at the end of the day, you're that same person. The same inner core of that person is you. I think you would more than likely fall for yourself. And I guarantee you, when Sylvie and Loki kiss, that triggered a lot of people, which I could see why a lot of people say, oh, this show sucked. Anyways, yeah, so that whole thing, I love their relationship. The relationship was really cool and really insane from the fact that they started off not being on the same page, but then when they were forced to work together, they grew a connection and they understood each other well. We thought, both of them understood each other and they thought they were, in this together until we saw to today's episode and everything. But my goodness, it was just insane. And then the whole finding out that the TVA people are essentially variants like Loki, like Loki was and Sylvie was, that they're just variants, that they're people from different timelines, that just were pulled into the work for the TVA. And we see even in this episode, B-15, takes one of the TVA security guards and they see Ravonna Ray Slayer, and we find out she's a teacher in her original timeline. We see Ravonna Rain Slayer is essentially convinced that, well, guess what? Yes, I may be a variant, but I'm going to stick on this whole thing. And when she left, maybe she runs into Kang the Conqueror, and then that's when you get the power couple started up and stuff like that. Because in the comics, they're together. So we'll see that happening. Obviously, the biggest thing to talk about, especially with the culmination. One, I love last week's episode with the whole Void situation and the different Lokis. That episode was great. And it was definitely my favorite episode up until this point. The season finale of episode 6 was my favorite episode, but I even still think I like episode 5 more. The reason why episode 6 is being talked about is just the implications after the incidents of what happened here and the character that made his appearance in this. So, listen, it's just insane. It's just insane. And I'm going to look up the freaking actor who plays King, Jonathan Majors. But okay. Again, listen, I'm just completely mind blown. But obviously, let's talk about the main thing and the future of really the MCU and stuff like that. Because just like I said, I just talked about really the buildup. But this is what this buildup turned into, and we get here. I remember back when WandaVision was airing, and even in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, people made predictions and stuff like that. Now not as much in Falcon and the Winter Soldier of who it could be, like of in terms of a big character. But I know on WandaVision, I remember the speculation people thought, oh, we're going to get Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four, which never made any sense to begin with. We were going to get Mephisto, which was really the main thing. People thought we were going to get Mephisto in WandaVision. And when we didn't get it, and it ended up, and the bad guy ended up spoilers, I'm sorry. Go watch WandaVision. And the fact that we found out it was obviously Agatha Harkness as the main villain, or the main villainess in this case, we saw so many people say, WandaVision was so disappointing because you didn't get your Mephisto. Yeah, they were going to give you the devil of freaking the Marvel universe and just immediately TV show. Now, I'm not saying he can show up in the near future, but so many people were pissed off and they're like, WandaVision was good, but they dropped the ball on the ending because guess what? They didn't get what they wanted. People enjoyed Falcon and Winter Soldier. I don't remember if there was any big theories on who we later saw was obviously who we obviously saw was crap, I forgot her name. I can't remember all these names, man. Whatever. You know who essentially is the chick. I'm trying to remember her name. I'm trying to. Whatever. You know the whole theories in there that some of the kids didn't come true. There. And this show, Loki. And I think a lot of people came to this saying, okay, in terms of who the final big bad of this show could be, I'm going to set my expectations low. I'm not going to think it's who I think it is. And most people were speculating, I wonder if they're going to give us Kang the Conqueror. But I don't think they're going to do that because in the last 2 Disney Plus shows, we theorized that, well, they're going to give us this big Marvel character. But guess what? It never happened. And you're just thinking it can't be King the Conqueror because that'd just be too obvious there. It'd just be too obvious. And then again, knowing that the Disney Plus shows, usually Marvel swerves us and they totally give us something that we wouldn't expect or we wouldn't think of. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. But to say that Marvel one-upped us and the people who were gung-ho and 100% thinking and just said no, I think we're getting Kang the Conqueror as the guy that's kind of the whole, final antagonist or the guy who's pulling the strings essentially. And the fact that Marvel went through it and they literally have it where you see the scene where Loki and Sylvie are walking and then you see the elevator scene open up and you see Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror. My jaw dropped. I'm like, they brought him in here. Holy shit. Listen, that swerved me so much. The fact that I thought they were going to do something different. A lot of people were speculating. I guarantee you the mastermind behind the strings of the TVA is probably just another Loki variant. No, it was Mr. Kang the Conqueror. Now, this is a different variant Kang, or a different version of Kang, a more peaceful version of Kang, which, funny enough, by the time Sylvie killed him, he essentially was warning them, you don't want to kill me, because if you kill me, you're going to get a worse version of me later, or worse versions. So, one, there's going to be multiple versions of Kang the Conqueror. So, that means the one that's going to appear in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, that's going to be an evil Kang the Conqueror. Probably a different one. So that means we're probably going to get multiple Kang the Conquerors in the MCU going forward. And then on top of it, because of Sylvie killing him, she just broke open the multiverse. So this means, guys, anything can happen in the MCU. Anything. Spider-Man No Way Home. People speculating that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's going to be in that film. That could happen now. Because now the multiverse is strained. What if? What we're getting what if in like 3 weeks or so now? That's essentially we're getting just what if other multiverse versions of some characters we know. So for example, what if what if what's her face? Captain America's girlfriend was actually Captain America. That's another multiverse timeline there. Because you see in this episode, the span of time, the main continuity of the timeline, literally having breaking off points where you see other multiverses starting to be created, and my God. So Sylvie just made even probably a worse decision than Star-Lord did in Infinity War. Because one, you just made everything go completely crazy, and then now we're going to get evil versions of Kang the Conqueror coming. And then on top of it, Loki gets pushed back into the TVA, but he comes up on B-15 and Mobius, and they don't even know who he is. They think he works there. And what the people have been throwing out is Sylvie pushed him into another timelines, another multiverse, TVA. Because when he turns around, he's looking at the statues, instead of it being the timekeepers, it was Kang the Conqueror as the one statue, and you're like, oh. So this changes everything. Now we don't even know what's going to happen. My God. This episode literally dropped my jaw. This was just shocking. And we're going to get season 2. I don't know when season 2 is going to happen. Probably 2023, 2024 is when we're going to probably get Loki season 2. I'd be shocked if it comes out next year. I don't think it's coming out next year. I think it's coming out in 2023 or 2024. At the latest, 2024. But just to be shocked to see that Kang the Conqueror was in this. Like, I'm utterly shocked and stunned that Marvel was like, oh yeah, we're going to give you probably the most obvious thing in this show, which sets up Kang the Conqueror as going to be the, I guess, overarching antagonist. I don't know if I don't know if Kang the Conqueror is going to be the big bad like Thanos was in the past 3 phases. I don't know if he's going to be the overarching big bad of this next phase of the MCU. I don't know that. We're just going to find out and see on the journey. So, yeah, things definitely changed here. And my goodness, I'm going to get off to a little rant. I'm just going to say this. Screw the people that said the MCU was going to be dead after Endgame. If you really do believe that the MCU was going to be dead, don't even bother watching any more MCU movies from this point on. Especially some people that were criticizing Black Widow when I thought Black Widow was actually a pretty damn good movie. Saying, oh, well, see, Black Widow sucks, See, I told you guys, MCU Phase 4 ain't going to be nothing special. WandaVision was great. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was great. Black Widow was great. And Loki was phenomenal, especially the way they ended it. And now they're doing it. And now they have the multiverse essentially established. And it's happening. It's coming. And you're telling me, and heck, there were some people that were disappointed in this week's episode. What the hell are you talking about? You were disappointed in this episode? You thought this episode had a lot of unanswered questions? Of course it had a lot of unanswered questions. You want to know why? It's a season-ending episode. Those answers are answered in the other MCU movies, and it's what's going to be answered in season 2 of Loki. Have you ever watched a seasonal TV show? They're not going to explain everything. Jeez Louise. There was unanswered questions at the end of WandaVision. There was unanswered questions at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There's unanswered questions at the end of Black Widow. I'm not going to spoil Black Widow, but if you see the end credit scene, there's unanswered questions there. So you people who were disappointed, you can all F off. You can all F off. If you really were disappointed in this, you were getting up for something more important than you thought you were. If you thought you were going to get some grandiose CGI battle or something like that, like we saw at the end of last week when they literally confronted Eliath. What else do you expect? I would think you people would be happy that, oh shit, we got Kang the Conqueror up in here. But no, people have set their expectations way too damn high, thinking they're going to get something that, guess what? They don't end up getting it, and then they're like, oh, this shit sucks. What are you talking about? You guys were disappointed. No, if you're disappointed, don't even bother. Don't even bother watching any more MC. So that means don't go to the theaters to watch Shang-Chi, The Eternals. Don't even bother watching Spider-Man. Yeah, I said it. Don't even bother. You're the same people that said the MCU was going to be completely worthless, was going to be completely dead after Endgame, and nothing special was going to happen. The MCU just made something special happen. They just introduced the multiverse. Either you're saying that or you're just a DC fanboy that hates Marvel on the success that they're doing. And guess what? If that's the case, well, Marvel's doing a whole lot better job in the movie department than DC is. The only thing DC can get right is their animated movies. That's something I will say, that DC has something better than Marvel. Their animated content is much better than Marvel's animated content. Live action movies? Oh, please. Marvel kicks DC in the ass. There's only like 2 or 3 good DC movies. All the other DC movies absolutely reek and they suck. That includes the Zack Snyder Justice League. Yeah, I said it. Zack Snyder's Justice League, it was better than the original one, but I didn't think it was that good. I thought it was the same Justice League movie from the original Justice League. They just added some scenes and just made it longer. Jesus, you have these people that say all this stuff is going to end up being completely nothing. The MCU is not going to get any bigger than this point on. What's a way to top what you did the last few phases? The culmination to build up to Thanos. Let's introduce the multiverse. I think that's pretty big. I think that's much bigger than Thanos. My God. Guess what? Now you can get what you want. See, and this is what I said about the Spider-Man. I said this about the Spider-Man movie. I guarantee you, if Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield do not show up in that movie, Spider-Man No Way Home, I guarantee people will come out of that movie theater saying this movie sucked because they weren't in it. Because you expect them to be in it, but when it doesn't happen, the first thing you're like, this sucks. It's stupid, when in reality, it's a good movie. Jesus, I just hate the fact that people keep sleeping on Marvel. They thought that on the MCU. People really thought the MCU was going to die. I agree that the MCU may never get to the point of what it did in the last 3 phases. But now after seeing this episode, I think it could be beyond what they got from the Thanos stuff. Because we're getting the multiverse now. Just think of it. We can get Secret Wars. Secret Wars can actually be a live action movie. You know what that means? Since the multiverse is a thing, you can bring back Robert Downey Jr. You can bring back Chris Evans. You can bring back Scarlett Johansson to reprise the roles of their characters. Because guess what? Now that the multiverse is out, you can come in and bring different versions of their characters. They can still play the same Iron Man, the same Captain America, but they're going to be different versions of them. How would you tell me you're not be excited, hyped for that? You're telling me, oh, that's not gonna be as hype as Endgame was? If that's the case, leave and never watch another MCU movie until they eventually reboot the entire franchise all over again. If you really don't believe that the MCU is not gonna get better, trust and believe. I kept telling people, I said it. I even think I said it in my Endgame review. I don't know when. I said it, but I kept telling people, stop sleeping on Marvel. Y'all ninjas don't know what y'all talking about. You really think that Marvel ain't going to get so big and stuff like it did with the culmination. Yes, that build-up was wonderful, and it was great. But people after that was like, there's no way MCU is going to top what they did. In one episode of Loki, the series finale, they probably just blew your mind with the possibilities that they could do. So now you can see whatever you want in these movies. Kevin Feige and his and the crew can just be like, oh, we can put this character in here and you guys won't even see it coming. You don't want to know all of this? This explains how Deadpool, the X-Men, Fantastic Four can now enter into the freaking MCU and be in there. Venom! This explains now Venom can come into the universe, for crying out loud, for you Spider-Man fans. Venom can now come in here. He can now be in the MCU now. Don't you understand the possibilities of what can happen now that they introduced the multiverse and now the multiverse is breaking reality and everything? They can now have all these movies in MCU continuity. This explains how Venom can get over into the Spider-Man universe and now interact with Spider-Man. Especially the fact that we're getting a Venom Carnage movie in the coming months. Mobius. I don't know if I'm going to check out Mobius, which is a Spider-Man vampire which is a Spider-Man villain vampire. Kraven the Hunter is in talks of development. And guess who's in Kraven the Hunter? He's played by the dude who plays Quicksilver. So Kraven the Hunter can come into the MCU, and guess what? Holy crap! See, this is what I'm talking about. You people keep sleeping on Marvel. Keep sleeping on Marvel. I told you. I said it. Don't sleep on these guys. They know what they're doing. Kevin Feige knows what he's doing. He isn't going to just lay over and give us piss poor movies and be done with it. No, they're going to make these movies good to where you're like, oh shit, this stuff is better than before. You really think Marvel was done? Oh, please. If you really thought Marvel was done, they're just getting started. The multiverse is bigger than anything they did in the past movies, in the past 3 phases. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, was the build-up to Endgame worth it? Was it great? Was it just a masterpiece? Yes. But now introducing the multiverse, this is how you find a way to top what you did in the past phases, in the past 3 phases, and be like, all right, this is where we're going to get started with our new phase, and this phase is going to be all really about the multiverse. Yeah. Keep judging us. Keep saying that we're not going to be as good as we used to be. Kevin Feige hears your comments. He hears all your hater comments. He hears you. He found a way to top himself already. And that's why I said, listen, I don't sleep on Marvel. I don't sleep on Marvel anymore. I know Marvel does great things. And I told myself, listen, I don't care what these people say. Y'all keep sleeping on Marvel. Keep sleeping on them. Because guess what? When you get to the penultimate end to this phase, to these phases of movies, guess what? You'll probably be like, holy crap. Boy, was I wrong. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Keep sleeping on Marvel. They're going to drop another bomb on you, and they're going to do it. This is why I say, don't give up on every Marvel movie. Might not be as interested in Eternals as much, but I'm still going to go see it. So like the last MCU movie I did not go see in theaters was, I would believe, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, I just didn't feel like much. But now I'm going to watch Doctor Strange 2. From this point on, I'm watching every MCU movie, even if it's the characters I'm not interested in. I'm going to go watch Shang-Chi in September. I'm going to go watch Eternals in November. I'm going to go watch Spider-Man. Obviously, I'm going to watch Spider-Man because he's my favorite superhero. I'm going to watch Doctor Strange. I'm not missing any MCU movies up to this point. I'm telling you. People keep sleeping on MCU movies. People keep sleeping on them. They think it's not going to be as good as it used to be, but guess what? They're definitely wrong. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. I've spoke enough. So if you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on the Loki series, and also your thoughts on where Phase 4 could be going. Because my God, I'm just utterly flabbergasted, and I just don't know where it's going to go. I just don't know where it's going to go. But other than that, that's it. So hit the subscribe button if you want to get more MCU content. I will probably be doing a Falcon and the Winter Soldier review. So yeah, do the series review. I'll probably have to rewatch that and everything. Recently I did a Black Widow review, so I'll put that at the in my outro so you guys can see it and stuff like that. And then yeah, and if you do hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell icon so you can get uploads or you get the notifications to your device whenever I upload to the channel. Other than that, guys, I will see you guys next time. Maybe I'll review What If. I'll probably will review What If after every episode. So yeah, I'll probably review What If, and then really the next movie review for MCU, if you watch, especially if you watch my Black Widow review, I said would be Shang-Chi. But other than that, I'm gonna get over, guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day and night. Check out this video. Until then, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.